After 13 magical games and weeks of anticipation, after weeks of being called the underdog and then finally saying you believe in yourself and being smeared for it, it's time for your Arizona State Sun Devils to continue to do the impossible. Take down Goliath, the Texas Longhorns, 2 touchdown favorites in the Peach Bowl, the college football playoff quarterfinals. PHNX Sun Devils is live from Gila River Resorts and Casinos. We're doing pregame coverage starting now. Happy game day and welcome in to PHNX Sun Devils, of course, powered by Neutral. Keep it tasty, Tempe, and keep it tasty in Atlanta, as that is the site, the place for the 2024/5 college football playoffs to continue with a quarterfinal matchup between the Arizona State Sun Devils and the Texas Longhorns in Atlanta, Georgia. But right now I'm here in Arizona at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Wild Horse Pass, we're right behind me. Sun Devil faithful are filing in and getting ready for the biggest game in nearly 3 decades for this school. It's shades of the Rose Bowl in 1996. We had Jake Plummer on yesterday. If you missed that, check it out on PHNX Sports. But it's time for this team to write their own legacy, and they can do that by taking down Goliath, taking down the behemoth, the 2 touchdown favorite SEC powerhouses, powered by one of the best defenses in college football, the Texas Longhorns. But if you don't believe that Arizona State has a shot, well, then you haven't been paying attention for this entire season. Constantly counted out every single week from week 1 to the very final game in the Big 12 championship. Arizona State has never been picked to be the favorite. So tonight and today is no different. We appreciate all of you for joining us here in the chat right now. I see Sun Devil faithful John, Dalton, Ernesto, Steven, David, of course, Splendid Daddy in the house as well. Formerly Sugar Daddy. You always have to make sure to throw that in there as well. We appreciate every single person being in here. Make sure y'all smash that like button. It's a big day, whether you're a Longhorns fan, whether you're a Sun Devil fan, whatever it is, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And in case you didn't know, you're not going to get enough of me today. In fact, you're probably going to get super sick of me, actually, because I'm also doing a live watch along right from here. As soon as this stream ends, we're going to get onto another stream. We're going to watch the game together. If you're a Texas fan and you want to give me crap and you think Texas is going to beat the brakes off ASU, come watch me break down live. If you're a Sun Devil fan who thinks we're going to shock the world today like so many of you do, well, come hang out live and have a good time. If you're a diehard and you're still filing in here at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, you get to be on the live watch along if you so desire. We'll discuss all of that in our diehard Discord. Anthony Totri in the chat. We will have a video from him later as he is boots on the ground in Atlanta. But let's get into business. And you cannot start today without mentioning the fact that the Arizona State Sun Devils reportedly and now officially agreed to a contract extension with head coach Kenny Dillingham, making him one of the highest paid head coaches in the Big 12 and locking him up for a very long time, 5 extra years with incentives that can even go beyond that. And if you don't think that plays into today with the same type of team and the same program that extended their offensive and defensive coordinators right before a big game, that puts their players on a spotlight to get massive NIL deals and to be able to broadcast themselves in front of the nation. If you don't think that this timing is not impeccable, then I don't know what to tell you, because this will re-energize, reinvigorate a team that's been sitting, waiting, itching to play some football for quite some time. If you want more thoughts on the Kenny Dillingham extension and everything that goes along with it as far as what happens beyond the Peach Bowl, win or loss, can this continue to be a successful program here in Tempe? Well, we answered a lot of those questions. Espo and I did. We did that right here on PHNX Sports. We appreciate every single one of you, but let's get into this game. Let's talk about what Arizona State needs to do to beat the Texas Longhorns. Of course, the big factor here that Texas fans continue to bring up is size. is winning in the trenches, and not even just the defense as a whole when it comes to Texas, but just the lines, offensive line, defensive line. And that is how Arizona State can win this game. And that's to compete at an SEC level. And I genuinely think they can do that. They do have a slight size disadvantage. I mean, most teams do against a Texas. But there is a big positive possibly being in the works for Arizona State, and that is that Texas right tackle Cameron Williams is unlikely to play today for the Longhorns per Pete Thamel. He's dealing with a right knee sprain and has been limited. You can look for redshirt freshman Trevor Gooseby to be the starting right tackle if he indeed does not make it, which all signs point towards him not playing today. So if ASU can now do what the big key was as far as put pressure on Quinn Ewers, win the line of scrimmage against their offensive line and get Ewers pressured, make him uncomfortable, that is your first step to making sure that you walk away with a massive Cinderella victory. Splendid Daddy says, how do y'all feel about Erik wearing Longhorns gear soon? Listen, if y'all don't know, Splendid Daddy and I, we and Totri, we have a bet. If Texas wins, we will wear Longhorns gear, and if they don't, you have to record an apology style video. And also, by the way, if that Texas gear still shows up, which it's going to, he already sent it, and we win, we might do some disgusting things to that Texas gear, like light it on fire. I don't know, like throw a copy of Interstellar on top of it and light that up as well. Because you know what, I got to go in my Kyle. Throw me my shades. I got to go into the heel mode. Okay, here. And Splendid Daddy says, Gooseby held up against Georgia. Good luck with that. Yeah, Texas is next man up. Texas is deep. But at the same time, you can't talk about losing your starting right tackle and not see that it could make a little bit of a difference on the margins. Not that he's bad. It's the same way that Arizona State has wide receivers that have stepped up in big games with Jordan Tyson down. But you can't look me in the eyes and tell me that you don't think losing Jordan Tyson is going to be a detriment for the Sun Devils. Both of these teams are good teams. They're deep teams. They're teams that can be successful without some of their best players when you lose them due to injury. That's what all the best teams are. It doesn't mean that, you know what, Texas is going to be easy to run through and who cares because this happened and everything's changed, because guess what? There is some reinforcements coming for Texas as well in the form of Isaiah Bond, who was looking ready to go in warmups, is expected to play today after dealing with ankle injuries throughout the entire season. He is a massive difference maker when it comes to this team for Texas, especially offensively. Even if you are able to rough up Ewers, even if you are able to make him uncomfortable, having a release valve like Isaiah Bond, along with the two-headed running back beast room that they have there as well, that is a massive deal. You look back to that Clemson game where you had Golden who dropped a couple of passes. If you replace that with Isaiah Bond and get some more over-the-air contributions from him, then that's a big-time test for Arizona State and their secondary, which has been the epitome of bend, don't break. You think about that BYU game where they came out and they controlled. In fact, they dominated in the first half, and then BYU started throwing, and that secondary got tested, and you started to think to yourself, is this really going to be enough to take down one of the better teams in the nation in BYU? And then they step up. They make a big play, Javen Robinson with the pick, and that is exactly what this defense needs to do today against Texas. You need to make Ewers uncomfortable. John says in the chat, Washington showed us that if you can pressure Ewers, it leans the other way. And I think that is a massive deal. You make Ewers uncomfortable, you have to force him into a turnover. If Arizona State's defense does not force a turnover tonight, I think they're cooked. Right? I don't think that there's a recipe to beat a team like Texas, to take advantage of this opportunity against a team with this much talent and not win the turnover battle. If it's 0-0, it's still going to get weird, but I still think that Arizona State needs to force at least one turnover, if not multiple. But you saw it in Iowa State, and you saw it against BYU. They can do it in the biggest moments, and it even leans all the way back to the very first defensive possession of the entire season against Wyoming with a Cyrus Fiaseu pick six that, of course, set the scene to get here today. I want to re-welcome in everybody who is joining us here live on the PHNX Sun Devils pregame show, live from Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Wild Horse Pass, of course, brought to you by Neutral, keeping it tasty in Tempe. If there is still time to get here, if you live close in the East Valley, you can still get here before the game starts, and you can get your very first Neutral of the day. Start your day off right with Neutral right here on us. Thank you, Rudy, South KMX, Angry Grim, Kyle Cooper, a.k.a. Captain Redbeard, in the chat as well. Rufio says, LOL, oh, bless your heart. Edward says, Texas will win, ASU will not. Simple as that. I don't blame Texas fans for feeling that way. I don't expect you guys to feel any differently. I've encountered plenty of you over the last couple of weeks, and if I woke up today and expected Texas fans to go and look at Arizona State and say, we're not going to whoop them, well, then I think there'd be a massive change of heart for the New Year's, and maybe you had a brand new New Year's resolution. I have I'm not shook at all by your lack of confidence and faith in this team, because Kyle can attest to this. Anthony Totri, who will play a video from him later today, can attest to this as well. We sat here almost every single week. Wyoming. Fans from Wyoming were in here saying that we're not going to be able to handle Wyoming. ASU is not as good as you think. Blowout. Then you go into the second game of the season. You take on a Mississippi State, right? You had Mississippi State fans coming in our mention saying you can't handle SEC size, even though Mississippi State's not great. There's no way that you can handle it. You're just not good enough to do that. And then you handle Mississippi State. Then you move on to Texas State, who's a good team. Y'all want to give us crap for almost losing to Texas State. First road test for a team being put together through the portal and through so many different avenues on the road against a Texas State team that this was their absolute Super Bowl, down in the second half, storm back, win that with an absolute shutout defensive performance in the second half as well. That was a really big win, right? But we had Texas State fans coming in here saying, ASU, you're not who you think you are. You're not good enough to do that, right? And every single week beyond that, whether it's BYU, whether it's Kansas State, Arizona fans, they're all depleted and sad and dead. So they weren't really talking any trash at all. They just basically threw the white flag up. But then you go to Iowa State. Iowa State fans saying there's absolutely no chance that Arizona State can hang with the talent over there at ISU. We've heard it year in, all the time, saying we just aren't good enough. So why would I expect you, the overdogs, the favorites, the 2 touchdown favorites in this game, in fact, to come in here and expect yourself to lose? Not at all. But I don't like how y'all are getting mad about the confidence that Arizona State has in themselves. I think it's so funny and kind of ironic and hypocritical that Texas fans are talking about, oh, but Cam Scadaboo's talking like he's the best. Sam Levitt's talking like he's the best. Is that something that they've done all season? Absolutely not. Are you listening to the questions that they're being asked and how they're literally being set up and framed up to answer the question like that? And if you do not believe that you are the best at what you do, then this Arizona State team would be nothing. Because this is a team full of people who's not believed in, players who are not believed in by your very school, in fact. And you use that as a negative. You say Arizona State has Texas as sloppy seconds. Well, I'll tell you this. Arizona State has found hidden gems all over, including the ones from your roster. Of course, Quinn Ewers, we mentioned, he's going to have to turn the ball over at least once or twice for Arizona State to stay in this game. Also for Arizona State to win. It's Sam Levitt or nothing tonight, ladies and gentlemen, or today. I think it's nighttime because I'm wearing sunglasses, but actually it's the morning. That's what happens when it's the New Year's. Listen, Cam Scadaboo is going to be the best player on the field for Arizona State today. That's always been the case for them. But this game is going to be won by Sam Levitt. This game is going to be won by incredible quarterback play. Quarterback play that can get the most out of your wide receivers, down your wide receiver 1 in Jordan Tyson. A quarterback that can make split-second decisions, roll out of the pocket, diagnose a very fast, quick twitch, dominant defense with size that can get to the quarterback quickly. Let's say Arizona State's offensive line can't hold up against Texas's staunch defensive line. Sam Levitt still gives you a chance because of the way that he moves, the way that he rolls out of the pocket. He makes plays, heady plays, runs them in for touchdowns. It's 3rd and long, it's 4th and short. Whatever it is, Levitt has the body type, the mental awareness and fortitude, and also the counter of the arm strength to keep you honest. But it can't just be him on the ground. He has to attack in the air as well. And that's why you're looking at Xavier Guillory to also step up for Arizona State, just like he did against Iowa State. For those of you Texas fans who maybe didn't watch the highlights and do your research on this Arizona State team in the Big 12 championship, let me remind you, Xavier Guillory was playing like a clear-cut wide receiver 1 in that game. Sure, missing Jordan Tyson is a big deal, but not as much when you have a team like Arizona State, who, yes, it's a cliche, but it's true. They play for the person next to them. They play for the players next to them. They prepare. And Xavier Guillory's been good enough to be a number 2 stud wide receiver all season, but at certain points he just has not been involved in the offense like that. He's been blocking. He's been a decoy. He's been a pressure release valve when Jordan Tyson has too much attention on him. And then he makes a big play, gets a touchdown, timely ones, like against Kansas. But today it's on him. Today, it's on Xavier Guillory and Sam Levitt to prove that the chemistry that they talked about post-Big 12 championship win has continued to develop over the last couple of weeks. Get better, self-scout yourself, and especially in that wide receiver room. Will it be a Malik McClain? Will it be a tight end like Shimon Matire? Melquan Stovall with a massive play against Iowa State, or maybe another unsung hero, former Texas Longhorn Jake Smith. Maybe he could join the party as well. So many different options for Sam Levitt, but you just need one to play like a bona fide stud wide receiver one, and that is going to be on Xavier Guillory, who has not looked back, who has not flinched in the moment for the entire time that Arizona State's season has gotten extra serious with Big 12 championship expectations on the line. LL says, does Texas have the Thorpe Award winner? Yeah, you guys have an incredible secondary led by an incredible Thorpe Award winner as well, and that's going to be something really hard for Sam Levitt and for Arizona State to overcome. That's why you look at Cam Scadaboo to kind of offset that, right? Because you are going to have to dominate the clock. You cannot solely rely on the passing game or the running game, for that matter, against a Texas defense. You can't do that. Texas is too good at stopping both that you can't just walk in with a one-dimensional game plan. But Cam Scadaboo is anything but one-dimensional. He can catch, he can run, he can block, he can avoid, he can speed up and you can miss him, he can run right through you, he can keep his balance after taking a big hit. And I'm sure that you've looked up. I'm sure you have looked up Cam Scadaboo highlights. And you know what kind of beast you're running against right now. You look at your TV right now. You saw Cam Scadaboo highlights. This dude's the truth. This dude's the real deal. And they are going to need him big time to step up today. Listen, we are just about halfway through this pregame show. I think it's a good time to tap in with my co-host, who is out boots on the ground in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. He cannot call in because he's too busy doing that reporter thing Anthony Totri is, but he did record a video with his 3 biggest keys to Arizona State taking down the Texas Longhorns in the Peach Bowl.
We're at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Kickoff coming up soon between Arizona State and the Texas Longhorns in the college football playoff quarterfinals. You got a Peach Bowl on the line. So we got 3 keys to the Arizona State Sun Devils pulling off the upset over Texas. Well, it's starting fast for Sam Levitt, for Cam Scadaboo. This offense, defense, they need to come out hot. If you look back at some of the games that Arizona State maybe didn't have their best performances, Texas Tech, Cincinnati, the Sun Devils came out slow in the opposition. Well, it was quite the opposite, especially in that Texas Tech game. The Sun Devils blinked, and before they knew it, they were out of it. But that can't happen here. You got to set up some easy completions for Sam Levitt early on. Got to get that defense off the field as well for Arizona State. I'd say a second key to victory is getting pressure on Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers. You can't allow Quinn Ewers to just sit in the pocket and pick you apart with those Longhorn pass catchers. Now, a good thing for Arizona State, Pete Thamel did report earlier today that it appears that Texas right tackle Cameron Williams is unlikely to play in the Peach Bowl against Arizona State. Sounds like it's going to be a redshirt freshman right tackle starting in Williams' place. So that should make life a little bit easier for Clayton Smith, Elijah O'Neal, and Prince Dorba to maybe go out there and get some pressure, really turn up the heat on Quinn Ewers. And the third key to an Arizona State victory is don't turn the football over. Sam Levitt has been marvelous down the stretch here. 13 passing touchdowns to just 1 interception in the second half of the season. You can't afford to give the ball back to Texas. You got to be able to set the pace of this game, control the clock, and really make it a ball game in the fourth quarter. You're not going to be able to do that if you give Texas extra opportunities. But that's how it happens. That's how your Arizona State Sun Devils pull off the upset here in Atlanta. Guys, we're here. The Peach Bowl. Let's do it.
Well, he's there. We're not there. He's there. But we're here at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, Wild Horse Pass. Man, I just scarfed down some French fries during that because I got real hungry, and I know all 100 plus of you in here right now really want to know about my French fry experience. But if you are still in the area and trying to come by, you see everybody filling in behind me, ready to root on ASU. Listen, a lot of Texas fans in the chat, as you have been. How is ASU going to stop the Texas offense? Well, if you think that Clemson is a better defense, the way that William puts it in the chat, you are wrong. It's not true. And ASU's defensive line is going to be massively tested. The way that you guys are able to spin how we talk about Texas, I wouldn't say it's borderline impressive. It's actually maybe the most impressive thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Because I have absolutely never, in our entire time of talking about Texas, said they were a bad team. I never said that they were not good, frauds, ASU's certainly going to win, blow them out, everything like that. I never said any of that. You guys are incredibly talented. I think you guys deserve to be the favorite. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we deserve to be the favorite You guys were favored to win the national championship going into the season. No, LL, Clemson's defensive line is not better than ASU's defensive line. It's just not true. This defensive line, Clayton Smith, CJ Fight, Heat Index earlier this week, which are three players that need to step up. Anthony Totri took you through those. Clayton Smith and CJ Fight, massive parts of that defensive line as well. Listen, ASU doesn't even have a 300-pound defensive lineman. They're all close to 300 pounds. That's the thing. It's like it's 297. Right? Like, sorry, man. And we have played against teams that are bigger than us, and it's not always just about size. Like, football is not just played on paper as well. Is that a challenge that ASU has to overcome? Absolutely, for sure. Overcoming the size and the power of Texas, who has maybe the most dominant defense in the country, yeah, that's a big problem. That's a massive step that you're going to have to overcome. That's something that they have to address. I look at Marcus Arroyo, offensive coordinator, basically awarded best offensive coordinator in the country with the Broyles Award, which awards the top assistant coach in college football. He was the only offensive coordinator. It's on him to be able to diagnose this Texas defense, see what kind of set you guys are in, whether you're trying to stop the run, whether you're trying to stop the pass, because sometimes you lean a little bit too far in one direction, and making sure that you keep them on your toes and you counter. The coaching, Steve Sarkisian, Kenny Dillingham, Marcus Arroyo, Brian Ward, two of the best coordinators in college football. And if you don't believe me, look at the track record. Look at how they've played. Look at what they have gotten out of a roster full of players who were forgotten, thrown to the side, not believed it. Like, this is an incredible coaching staff. And yeah, Texas has the size, the speed, and the skill. And guess what? You've always had the size, the speed, and the skill. Kyle, has that ever been a question with Texas? Have you ever looked at the Texas Longhorns and thought to yourselves, man, they just don't have a talented roster. Man, they just don't have the size and the speed and the athleticism. No, that's always what they get. But how many Big 12 championships did they rattle off in a row? How many SEC championships did they win this year? Right? And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but y'all acting like you're Goliath and you've never been punched in the mouth before and you've never been taken down in a big game. Kyle, what happened last year? UW versus Texas.
Texas won, right?
No.
They lost?
UW beat them.
Oh, well.
Come on, Kyle. Lock
Texas
in.
fans are getting into my head.
That's into your head.
That's what's happening here.
Sark always has better teams than ASU. Why does he have so much trouble being ASU? That's Antoine Codes in the chat. Helio says, Levitt better back up his talk. This isn't Iowa State. Listen, I do agree with a lot of fans there. Arizona State and how they've been talking recently is a lot different than how they've been talking the whole season. Kenny backs it up, says those are his guys. That's what they are. He's going to roll with it. I'm going to roll with them too because, to be frank, I think they've earned the right to go out there and to talk about how good they are. But you can't say that and not back it up, right? Like, you're putting the pressure on yourself. I was able to talk to Jake Plummer, right, who, of course, 1996 quarterback for the Rose Bowl team at ASU, absolute legend, name is in the stadium, like, fantastic, one of the best ASU players, if not the best ASU player of all time, quarterback. I talked to him about Sam Levitt's comment, too. Check that out right here on PHNX Sports right after you subscribe and turn the notifications on. And he said he actually took some pressure off of his teammates and put it more on himself, but at the end of the day, the pressure was always going to be on Sam Levitt. If Sam Levitt showed up today in a big moment in the college football playoff quarterfinals in the Peach Bowl, and he just laid a dud, that's what everybody's going to look at anyway. But why would a kid who nobody's believed in, why would a kid that had to be taken a chance on to get to ASU, that wasn't even promised a starting quarterback, that had to earn the starting role in fall camp, why would he not come out there after the type of second half of the season he's had? We've thrown the numbers up about 1 million times, right? We're not going to do it again because I think we've done it about 15 times since that graphic was made. But his progression from the first to second half of the season is remarkable. It's uncanny. This guy's a Heisman candidate next year, no matter what happens today. That guy needs to step up to win. I'm not shying away from that. Cam Scadaboo, Sam Levitt, they need to back up their talk. Leaf Fautanu needs to back up his talk about matching up, and Texas needs to play us too. Y'all need to match up too. And I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying what needs to happen. I think every ASU fan here is braced with the reality of there's always a chance that it goes south. There's always a chance that Texas does end up backing up what all y'all been running your mouths about and saying it's a 14, 24, 40-point win. Everything is on the table today. The same way that it's on the table that Arizona State can go in there and kick your butt as well, right? It's all on the table. That's why you play. And if at the end of the day, this team shows up and gives it their all and it's just not enough, then it's just not enough. Kenny said it best. They are playing with house money. We're playing with house money. Everybody here is playing with house money. Not actually at Gila River Resorts and Casinos Wild Horse Pass, but we are playing with house money when it comes to your Arizona State Sun Devils. And you know what? That's okay to admit that. It's okay to understand you're not supposed to be here. And if at the end of the day, You put it all out there, and Texas is just the better team. You line up man-to-man and you get dominated, then it is what it is. It sucks. You can come here and give me all the crap. You can come talk all your smack that you want. I'm going to have to wear a Longhorn shirt on the show once it gets delivered. All of that, right? We're going to accept that. We're going to embrace that. But y'all have to accept that there is some sort of reality. Whether it's the Doctor Strange, there's only one way that we win type of reality. That Arizona State walks out today going to the college football playoff semifinals as one of the 4 teams left in the nation. It is absolutely on the table. And if you don't think it is, then you haven't watched last year. You're being blinded by delusion, which, not to throw shots, but I mean, it's kind of fun. You guys kind of do anyway, right? So listen, here's the thing. Hit the like button if you think ASU is going to win. Also hit the like button if you think Texas is going to win. I need score predictions down in the comments below. I've got John with the 34-31 Devils win on a field goal in the most full circle moment. That would be crazy. Char Rand says Texas 45, ASU 10. All right, let's get to our score predictions. Anthony Totri and I, we are both taking a Sun Devil victory. Totri going by 3 points, 34-31. In fact, the same prediction that John had in our chat as well. I'm going a very close victory, 28-27. ASU up. Texas scores late. ASU can't convert on offense, and it comes down to the ASU defense to stop the Texas offense at the end of it, and I think they come up big. Splendid Daddy, of course, says 34-12 bad guys, talking about Texas. Zay says 31-28 ASU. Daddy Trill Betf says 30-16. I'm assuming Daddy Trill Betf is picking ASU. That's for certain. Clayton says 38-17 with the Longhorns up. And Chad says, should we just skip the game and pencil Texas in since they're far superior? That's what they want to act like. But at the end of the day, you still have to play the game. College football game day, going through their picks right now. I can also take you through that as we get closer to kickoff. More keys to this game, something we haven't talked about yet. When you are looking at Texas, you also have to bring up Arch Manning. There is definitely a chance. In fact, it's basically 100% guaranteed. Arch will be in there for at least a snap or two today. It's going to be a running play, but Arch is going to be out there. And if you do rock Ewers, if you do take him out of the game and he puts up a stinker, Texas has quite the backup quarterback that they could tap into, and that could be the ultimate X factor in a game like this. Captain Redbeard, who do you think is the ultimate X factor when it comes to the Peach Bowl against Texas for Arizona State?
I'm going to go with X.
Which one?
Xavier Guillory.
Gotcha.
He needs to have a big game against this defense. I think he's going to be the X factor. Sam's going to have to play best game all season. I've said that before. And Scat's going to go off, obviously. As
you can hear it in the background. Sorry to cut you off, Captain Redbeard, but the entirety of College Game Day, every single one of them picked Texas. Hey, here's a little extra fuel on the fire. Let's get it. Let's get fired up. Redbeard, I don't want to put you on the spot. What's your prediction for today?
I already had it.
I know you did. That's why I'm telling
fans
you again.
Hate me for this, but yeah, I have Texas winning 27-24.
You know what that Texas thing was? You want to know what that was? That was the perfect screenshot for Cold Takes Exposed. That's all I'm saying. Somebody take a picture of that, because at the end of the day, if ASU does beat Texas, all of y'all are going to need to get stuffed, all right? We appreciate every single one of you. Daddy Troll says, am I surprised? Absolutely not. I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised at anything that all of you Texas fans are saying. I'm not surprised that the entirety of national media has a bunch to say as well. But I'm also not surprised at the amount of support that people are having here at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, the amount of support across Sun Devil Nation. ASU took over Atlanta. ASU is taking over college football, taking over the Big 12, and PHNX Sun Devils is absolutely your number one place to keep up to date with everything, not just football, but basketball, every single sport as well. PHNX Sun Devils has you covered live with at minimum 5 shows a week. But when it comes to today, baby, we got 3. Pre-game show that we're wrapping up right now. This is going to end soon. Then after that, where are we going? We're going to a live watch-along right from here, including diehards who are going to come on this broadcast. Diehard ASU fans are going to take you through the game. If Texas fans want to come in here and you want to talk trash to me the entire game, especially if it's going your way, PHNX Sports right here, live watch-along going down as soon as this broadcast ends. Give us a couple of minutes to set up. We'll get into the game. We'll get live, and I'll hold your your hand every single snap. And then guess what? That's not all. Watch along, then a slight break as soon as the game ends, and we're coming back here. Anthony Totri and I, Totri in Georgia, me at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, Wild Horse Pass, and we are taking you through the post-game for the Peach Bowl. Win or loss, rain or shine, Devils advancing or Devils going down in Georgia. We will be here every single step of the way. Everybody make sure you hit the like on the way out. Jump on over to the watch along. I'll see all of you here, but I'm going to go talk to my people at Wild Horse Pass. Welcome Sun Devil Nation in, and let's play some damn football.
We all silly like the mayor.